This, wait, when you think about the guys you worked with in Divine Mill, and include Zhanè in there because they were part of the whole Ill Town stuff. Who do you think was your favorite to work with? So you had Jaheim, you had Next, you had Coffee Brown, and you had Zhanè. When you think about the time you were there, which act would you say you actually enjoyed? I mean, I'm sure you love them all, but if you had to pick your favorite out of them working with and creating music.
That's a good question. Who's my favorite? Um, hmm. I probably would. I would probably have to say a Jahiem,
Hmm.
and and the best album I worked on was Nex's first album because um, I pretty much got a chance to be a part of every record, even the records me and Kate didn't produce. Working with people like Buck Wild and Evil D and Mr. Walt. And I remember being in the sessions with them, and there was maybe one note off, and I was like, we'll play the bass note here or do the string here, and not to be intrusive, but I didn't want publishing and writing. I just wanted the record to be, because I realized if that record is not good, then it takes away from all the other songs on the
Hmm.
album. And so that process happened, and I never got a chance to produce with Mr. Walt, um, Evil D, the Beat Miners, but that album. But Jaheim, I think the Jaheim thing was when, because of who knew, I had a feeling um, when he came down to the studio. He came in with his uncle. I can't think his uncle's name right now. And we had heard the demo. He'd gone somewhere and done Luther and the karaoke.
Stuck up. Yeah.
And I told Kay, I said, hey man, but then when he came out and did it live, I told Kay, I said, man, this guy's voice, man, you know, just his voice and his tone and his texture, and as
Mm.
a producer and a writer, when people come along, like I felt the way I felt when I heard his voice was the way I felt when I heard Eric Williams' first voice, the first time I heard it. I was like, wow, man, I'd be fortunate if I could get this guy to sing all my music, you know. Yeah. So I think, and with Jaheim, because everybody passed on him, he was the last person to get signed.
And he was one of the first in the door.
No, he wasn't first in the door, but I mean, he was the last person to get a deal. All
Okay.
like in that group where they replaced Cliff, Jaheim performed for Clive and them too. They missed it.
Yeah, goodness. Yeah, we know, no, a voice of a generation. But you switched from working with Kay to work with Eddie. What happened? How did that switch happen?
Well, another fork in the road. Um, Situation I talked to you, we were talking earlier about sample clearances and splits and whatnot. And we'd all agreed to that format about whatever they took sampling wise, we would then, the rest of us creatively would divide amongst those and we'd all pay for to use the sample. Well, at the time, Reggie Osei was my attorney. I met him through Miss Louise. He used to work for Miss Louise, and then he ventured off. It was him and Osei and was, God bless them. Both of those guys are gone now. But in my contract, um, I guess uh, next got into a dispute with K about some things that they didn't like about the agreement or the contract, or at the end when the album was pretty much done. And so their attorney looked at the producer agreement and he said, "Oh, wait a second." He said, "You guys, they're responsible for all the samples and everything. I know what y'all agreed to and what you signed, but," and so he said, "Technically, y'all don't have to honor that, you know." And I thought that that was their way of trying to get back at K for whatever they didn't like, or use it as a leverage position. And so, come to find out, K was a producer, it was his label, so he wasn't signed to a similar agreement as I, because I was a producer working for the label. He is the label. And so there was no such terms that bound him, just me. And at the time, I didn't understand it, but just the scenario I gave you a little while ago, you know, he's on the hook to turn in this album. And Clive doesn't want to hear about, we got a dispute, you know, because I think they were the initial group that he started doing business with. So, you know, he's like, "Hey, man, you know, his hands is tied, you know, they're going to enforce, you know, the production agreement." So basically, every sample that we use, that I produced with K, I had to pay for it. And so I didn't like his position, and I didn't understand it then the way I understand it now in hindsight, in retrospect. Had he said, "Oh man, you know, we're gonna go," he would have been like us and Lou Silas and the Flex, and now we quarrel and we got this great album, you know, because of technicality on my side. Because once again, it was my responsibility to point it out to Reggie that we had a different set of splits. So that part of the contract, make sure you take it out. I didn't, and he didn't know. So how could he think to take it out if he didn't know we'd already? And so I just kind of it just once again a bad time, because, you know, I love K like a brother. I was close, and still I'm close to his family, Poop, his mother, his father, God bless his day, is. We used to go fishing on party boats and stuff like that. And so I was, you know, but I just didn't have it to finish the projects that we had started. And I just left one day, and I decided I wasn't going back. And at that time, Eddie, I had done some remixes with Eddie. I think I did a skate remix and some other stuff. And he was VP at Motown. And I think that was winding down. And, you know, I called him up and I said, "Hey, man," you know, because I was supposed to work with him before I started working with KG. But then he was just getting the job at Motown.
Okay.
And me and KG started working. So I was like, you know, I'm going to produce with K. So then, yeah. And so I just kind of left, you know, I didn't wish no bad feelings, no ill feelings on K. It wasn't like we had a blowout and we had a big yelling and cursing thing. And I'm, nah, I just, and for me, and it holds true here today. I always have to believe in more of what God has for me than anything that anybody can take away from me. And sometimes that requires a leap of faith. You gotta walk away from something that, even as painful as it may feel or crazy as it may sound, because, you know, we put all these records together, you know, I just, you know, I didn't understand what I understood, and I didn't give Kay a chance to work through it. I just made a decision. And I think it was uh, maybe a year or so later, we were at a Sandman, same store I used to work for, and they've come out with a new MPC, and he was there. He came to see the tutorial or the showcase or whatever, and he said, "Hey, man, when it's over, can we talk?" I said, "Yeah." And went outside after it was over, and he, you know, he said he apologized, you know, for not haven't been able to make a different decision when it came to, that next and a couple other things. But he said that he really appreciated working with me, and he missed the camaraderie that we had as brothers, man, and family. And he said, listen, I can't undo anything that's happened, but I can promise you moving forward, man, and I'll make it right, and everything, if we can work together again. And man, it was sincere. It was hard. But I was like, hey, man, thank you. Thank you. And we started back working together, and we finished all the rest of the Jahiem. I did a song with him with Yolanda Adams, and I probably, who knows, would never have gotten that. I'm not meaning that. So, yeah, but I realized in that period from K to Eddie, I just started working with Eddie. And like I said, I had a great relationship with all the artists and everybody, and, but when I can't be creative and there's nothing there anymore, I don't just, like some people come around and sulk and they sit around with a mean mug. I have no time for that.
Yeah. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that category.
And somewhere in between
us, or even loving us, on which I didn't miss you with.
What was it like growing up?
She's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple of pieces.
trying to get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No, okay, you're okay.
They don't understand what Jonas Boyz winning Oscars.
play it.
And all these guys, they all work together.
I mean, I love all different genres.